Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about Velma, Season 1, Episode 1, titled Velma. So, this is mostly just me giving my thoughts, me talking a little bit what happened, this and that. Um, yeah, this is kinda how, I don't know, like I didn't really expect it to be like this, but okay, this is just my opinion. This show is stupid. It is really stupid. And I mean, not even in a funny, like, logical, smart kind of stupid way. It's just stupid. Plain and simple as that. Now, long time ago, I used to defend the creation of this, like, East Asian, like, Velma, because she's Indian now. I defended that because a lot of people, toxic people, was all like, oh, she has to be white and blah, 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 stuff like that. I didn't care, like, whatever. And plus, Mindy Kaling, the one who created and voiced it, stuff like that. Also in the show, they race bent Shaggy and everything. I'll get to the characters a little bit later. And so then I saw like still pictures of it. I'm all like, why is there like nudity in this cartoon? There's a lot of female nudity in this first episode. I mean, a lot. You see a lot of cartoon booty and a whole lot of full body nudity, but their boobs and their vagina monologue is like covered up. Like the boobs are covered up by the hair, and the vagina monologue is just covered by whatever random thing around or soap or something like that, And sometimes the boobs are covered in soap. When I said there's a lot of nudity, boy, there's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of nudity in the girls' shower room, locker room. Velma's like, I don't know if that's her stepmother or just her father's girlfriend. She's pregnant, full on nude. And I'm just like, why? Why is there nudity in a cartoon? So I knew there was going to be some. I just didn't know it was going to be this much. So I had a problem with the still pictures I saw a long time ago. And, I don't need to see nobody's head chopped off and like, the blood flowing out, stuff like that. Because it's a Scooby-Doo cartoon. However, it is still an adult cartoon. Now, don't get me wrong. I like my crude humor, cartoony stuff too. I love South Park. I love Family Guy. But mostly I love crude humor in live action. Dairy Girls. What's that show called? Another Period, Reno 911, something like that. Mostly in cartoons, I don't. Now, the animation, I'll give them props on the animation. I like the animation. I'm glad they changed it up. I get kind of tired of seeing the old-fashioned Scooby-Doo look. Speaking of Scooby-Doo, he's not in this. Why? Because Warner Brothers said they did not want him in the cartoon. Odd. It's a Warner Brothers property. He is the main attraction. You think they would have Scooby-Doo in it, but this is the first time Scooby-Doo has been absent in a Scooby-Doo-ish type property other than that Velma and Daphne live action movie that came out years ago. And I'm just kind of like, what are you doing, David Zaslav? Oh, speaking of David Zaslav, hey, guess what? HBO Max starting next month is $15.99. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to finish watching Titans or Doom Patrol or like The Last of Us when The Last of Us comes. I'm probably only going to be able to see the first 6 episodes of like The Last of Us. After that, I ain't getting it. I'm not spending $15.99 plus tax on a bunch of shows. I ain't got that many shows to watch left or movies, and a lot of stuff that just ain't that good. And so back to Velma. So like, I'm glad they changed the animation style because it gets kind of boring, like I said before. But the animation style is very different. It's pretty much like your adult cartoon type stuff from like Cartoon Network, YOLO, Silver Destiny type look, Star Trek Lower Decks, Rick and Morty, stuff like that. It's that type of animation style. And the humor is kind of that animation style. See, I'm not big on cartoon crude humor. It's just not my thing and stuff like that. So YOLO, Silver Destiny, I don't watch that. I used to watch my adult humor cartoons back in the day. King of the Hill, The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, and South Park. I love myself some South Park. Now, The humor in this, like I said, it's not even smart. It's stupid. South Park is smart humor. Harley Quinn is entertaining humor. This is literally just stupid. And I mean, it's literally just stupid. What crap just happens and you wonder why. And so, like, the premise of this is simple. There is no Mystery Inc. Velma is the one who's gonna start the game. I don't mind that, whatever. It's a different incarnation and stuff like that. And so she's the one who's gonna start the game. This is their teenage years in high school. Daphne is a very rude, stuck up, slutty type girl and everything. And her and Velma don't like each other no more. They used to be best friends until Daphne got hot and then she stopped. Fred, actually, let me get to what they look like. So this is the new reimagining of the cast. Velma, like I said before, stuck up snooty girl, and so Fred is the racist white guy who just uses smart people. He thinks Velma, who's supposed to be Indian, is Mexican, and just he's just racist. He's racist. He's very racist, and he doesn't care for her, and he keeps forgetting her name, and he's your typical type character, you know what I'm saying? And at times he can get kind of funny when he forgets her name, but everything else about him is not funny. This series is not funny, by the way, but when he forgets her name, that's funny. And then there is Shaggy. Can't call him Shaggy this time. His name is Orville, which is technically Shaggy's real name, but he goes by the nickname of by Shaggy. But here he is called Orville. Now look, I could care less if they race Ben Velma. I could care less if they race Ben Shaggy to make him black. What I don't like is, one, his entire appearance looks stupid. His hair looks stupid. They could at least gave him an afro. Because why? I've always imagined Shaggy. If you was ever going to reimagine Shaggy, I've always reimagined him as a black dude with an afro. And this is just a terrible design. And he's very boring. He's the most uninteresting character in the entire show. And he is the least funny. Not only that, but they did make him into a stoner, which kind of takes away from the fun of it. When I was in college, my first year, I went to a coffee house with a couple of people. I went upstairs and I met a group of people from college that I didn't know. And we ended up becoming friends. And they started to discuss that of Scooby-Doo and all the innuendos and everything, and how they assume Shaggy gets high, how they assume Fred bangs Daphne and everything. And so it's that fun, is it true, is it not true thing. But when they make it actually true, it's not fun. Like Fred and Daphne are actually banging. Oh, no, actually they're not, because she has never seen him nude. They just make out and stuff like that, and she grabs his what. But they never bang because there's a weird reason for that. His weird reason is he hasn't fully gone through puberty yet. He doesn't grow any facial hair, no leg hair, no pubic hair, no nothing, and he's ashamed by that. I guess that's supposed to be funny. But Shaggy is the most boring one of all. And I don't understand. And he's the worst design of them all. And I just don't get it. I really don't. Because Shaggy is supposed to be the cool, funny character. And he's nothing like you would expect him to do. Now, voice-wise, they're fine and everything. Mindy Kaling as Velma. I like Mindy Kaling. I first saw her on the internet and I thought she was hot. That's why I started following her. I watched that show she created on Fox, but it was the last season. And of course, that's the one that's not very good. So I don't know really if her show is any good or any funny. Now, like I told you before, there's a show on HBO Max called The Sex Life of College Girls. It took me a very long time to get into that show. She created that show. And so, it took me a good long while to get into it, and I kind of liking it a whole lot more now. I've never had a problem with Mindy Kaling. I think she's okay. I think she's cool, whatever. Her brother, I don't like. Okay, when you look at her and her brother, at first glance they look black, but they're not. They're Indian. And guess what? He decided to get into medical school. He was going to pretend to be black. Yes, it was a big thing, and he got exposed, and she got pissed at him. I don't like her brother, but I like her. She's cool as a voice actress and everything. But she sounds younger than what Velma is supposed to be. And not only that, but here's the thing. Because of the sound of her voice, I can only take it in small doses. Here she talks and rambles throughout the entire episode. Velma is actually the worst part of the entire series because all she does is ramble. Not only that, but she's really rude. And then when Shaggy tells her, I've always liked you, had a crush on you, she laughs at him and thinks that he's just joking around. Not only that, but she's rude to the lesbian cops and everything. And she always assumes the stereotypical terms about people. She thinks Fred is the murderer just because he's a white dude. And she assumes Daphne and them are all sluts because they're like really hot and everything. Not only that, the whole glasses thing don't make sense. She doesn't need glasses at all. It's shown that when she was younger, her mother used to give her mysteries. She loves to solve mysteries. And so her mother went missing one day. So she decided to put on her mom's glasses as kind of like, oh, you know, I miss my mom type thing. So she's not really nearsighted or nothing like that. She just wears her mom's glasses. So when she drops her glasses, like, you know, there's never going to be no, oh no, my glasses type thing. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not really nearsighted or nothing like that. And the strangest thing about her is that every time she's about to solve a mystery or says the word mystery, she has hallucinations. She hallucinates about 4 times in the entire episode. And every time she hallucinates, it's always these ghouls with green hands trying to grab her and murder her and everything. And she's screaming and hollering on the floor, but there's nothing there. She's hallucinating. Why in the world is she hallucinating? They're probably going to explain it later on in the series, but I ain't watching no more after this episode. I'm not even watching the second episode. I can't take this show. It's too stupid. And so, like, she's a very odd, strange, stereotypical, awkward, nerdy girl who's not even really all that smart in the series and stuff. Well, at least not in the first episode. And so she's very annoying, and she's the worst part of the entire series. She's just odd, and like the hallucination, like it's weird, and it's just like, why is that happening? And not only that, one time she went home and she's talking to her dad, and she gets on to him. She gets on to everybody. Like, she's one of those like irritating nerdy girls, you know. And so he's eating French fry, but he soaks them in like ketchup, and she's all like, they're soggy and everything. You're supposed to put them in the oven to get them crisp. And he told her, I've literally seen you eat a French fry out of the vacuum cleaner. And then when we see her outside, she literally pulls one out the garbage and eats one. That is disgusting. And so, like, the whole premise is that she's in the locker room and she's scaring the bejesus out of like Daphne. And so then a girl shows up dead, and then her head falls off, and then she has no brain. And so they assume Velma did it because Velma hates her and everything. Stupid logic, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so then, like, she has to prove that she didn't do this, but it's kind of hard. So then she goes to Fred's place, and then she assumes he did it. But then she finds out his secret, and then he's all like, I'm going to do to you, I did to somebody else. And then so, like, the 2 lesbian cops shoot him in the leg, and they're all like, we thought you was gonna murder her. He's like, no, I was just gonna bribe her with money, not to like reveal his whole pubic thing. 'Cause that's what he did to the girl that's dead and everything. Now she assumed that he's the one who did it because Norville gave her a camera and all this other stuff, and she spied on Fred and took the picture. But somebody is a murderer, but who, like, you know, don't know. And so that's the whole thing of like the entire episode, with a lot of stupid stupid comedy that's not even funny and everything. And I feel bad for some of the people who's in this because Constant Wu is in this, and I love myself some Constant Wu. And I'm just kind of like, why is Constant Wu, who is Asian, voicing a white girl for? Because she's voicing Daphne. And I'm all like, okay, if you're gonna race Ben Velma, if you're gonna race Ben Shaggy, might as well do it to Daphne too, since she's voiced by a woman of color. And Debbie Ryan is in this. I don't know who she played. I think Krista. I don't know even which hot girl that is. And so I feel bad for her because she's in this. It's like Insatiable, but like the animated form. If you've ever seen I can't talk. Insatiable on Netflix, whoo boy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stuff. But the comedy and the humor in this is totally off balance. It's off kilter. And it's just not like, who greenlit this crap? It's not even good. And Scooby Doo's not even in this stuff. And there's no Scooby snacks and stuff like that. Because there's no Scooby Doo. And in the first episode we see Shaggy, he's not even eating nothing. He's looking up weed on the internet. And stuff. And you know, I just don't get it. And it's just like, this is supposed to be adult humor, but who is this really for? Because it's kind of dumb. But people like Lower Deck, so maybe they'll like this. I do feel like some people are gonna like this, you know, and everything. I just don't know exactly who and why is there so much new cartoon nudity in this. And it's like, I don't understand people who watch cartoon porn. Like, if you do, fine, that's you. But this the real thing, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And stuff. And it's like, you don't need to get your jollies off a cartoon. So I will never watch this again. And I'm not one of those type of people who wishes something would get canceled, but I kind of wish this would get canceled just because of how terrible it is. Because this is painful for me because I love Scooby-Doo. Like, I've loved the original one. I love when Scrappy showed up. I love a pup named Scooby-Doo. That was my 90s jam right there. And, you know, I love the first two live action Scooby-Doo movies. But other than that, I've never liked any. Oh, and I also like that fan-made live action one that I reviewed last year. Go watch that. But you know, other than that, I've never liked any other type of Scooby-Doo. I just can't get into them. Like the ones that was on Cartoon Network, I couldn't get into those and stuff like that. And that one that was on WB Kids where it was just Shaggy and Scooby, I couldn't get into that either. And you know, but I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan, and this is just very heartbreaking. Like, you know how they say when there's a reboot, like, you know, and they say, oh, it's not for you because you're an adult now. It's for kids. It's for a new generation. This ain't for kids. This is for adults. So therefore it should be for me. But it's not. And it's just not my jam and everything like that. I just can't get into it. It sucks. It has a lot of bad writing to it. I am allergic to bad writing. Achoo. And you know, I don't like sneezing and coughing all the time. And it really pains me to have to be ill from bad writing. Mufasa did not die for this. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.